Hey, David Taub here with Epic Guitar Instruction. How are you? Hope all is going well. Got a killer song lesson for you today. We're going to learn Thrill Is Gone, made famous by B.B. King. It's a great lesson in minor blues. We're going to have a lot of fun. And I have some exciting news for you. If you would like a chance to win this guitar, right? Not a guitar like this one, but this one. We're actually going to give this guitar away through an Indiegogo campaign to charity. This is a brand new 2015 made in the USA Fender Stratocaster. Brand new, we just got it. $1,000. I think it was like $999 was the price of it, something like that. Very close to $1,000. And we are going to donate this to charity, and you could win this guitar. It's awesome, USA made, has the humbucker for that screaming rock sound, two single coils. It's got the rosewood fingerboard and the big headstock, right? Which is very cool, like in the early 70s Strats. And I'm not even going to take the stickers off this guitar. It still has the protective plastic on the pickups and the pickguard. I'm going to leave it all on there, but I'm going to use this guitar in this lesson. So click that link right here, or click the link down in the YouTube description box and learn how you can win this guitar. We're going to do this lesson in two parts. Part one, that's this part. We're going to do all the rhythm parts. I'm going to show you the 12 bar, show you some different subs you could do on the chords and some interesting ways of playing this, as well as I put a rhythm track for you together, a rhythm jam track, so you could practice this, so you'll have some application ways to practice what you're learning. I'll put that at the end of the lesson, so be sure to check that out. And then in part two, we're going to talk about some soloing strategies and different things you could do to solo and licks and all kinds of great stuff, because this song is so great for soloing. And basically, Thrill Is Gone, this song was made famous by B.B. King. He didn't write the song. The song was written by Roy Harkins, right? But made famous by B.B. King. And it's a great lesson in minor blues. It's minor blues, 12 bar, and we'll do a version like you'll hear in some of B.B.'s studio versions. So it's in the key of B minor, all right? First thing I'll do is I'll show you the chords. Now, it has an interesting twist on a couple of the chords they use, but it's a basic 12 bar blues progression, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Let's go over the chords first. The first chord is B minor 7 we're going to use. And you're going to stay on that for 4 bars, and then we're going to go to the E minor 7 chord. Right? Pretty sounding chords. And you'll be on that for 2. So it's the slow change. And then you're going to go back to the B minor 7 for 2. That's 6 bars so far if you're counting. Then it's interesting. He goes to a sharp 5 chord. So we're going to play, go to the G major 7. Right? Real jazzy sounding chord, right? Those sweet major 7 chords. And that's the sharp 5. If you're not too familiar with that chord or you're having trouble getting to it in time, you could play just the G major if you want to do that. And then he goes to the 5 chord, but a 7th chord. He goes to that F sharp 7. Right? And those are 1 bar each. And then back to the B minor 7 for 1 bar. Or you could do this. You could stay on it for 2 bars and then it starts over again. Or what I like to do, 1 bar there and then do a turnaround, which will kind of turn you back around. I like that. You really don't hear that on the studio record, him turning that around, but I really like doing that. And what that chord is that's an F sharp 7 sharp 9. I'm sharpening the 9. And that sounds really cool. And then it starts over again on the B minor 7. Okay? So I'll play it for you. So what the 12 bar means is that there's 12, the whole progression basically plays 12 bars and then it just repeats. That's the whole song, right? With obviously lots of room for soloing, right? Intro, you could do intro solo in the middle of the song, all different instrumentation. If you have keyboards, they could solo. Everybody could take a turn. So 12 bars. So basically, here's what a 12 bar is. And if you know this already, you could fast forward this. But it's important that you know this. It's 12 bars, basically, for this type progression with the slow change. You're staying on that 1 chord for 4 bars, B minor 7th. And I'll show you, write these out for you so you could count. E minor 7 for 2, so that's 6. Back to the B minor 7 for 2, that's 8. Up to the G major 7 for 1 bar, which is 9. To that F sharp 7 for 10. Then you can go back to that B minor 7 for 11 for 1 bar, and then to the turnaround for 12. Or if you don't want to go to the turnaround, like he does in the studio recordings, when you go back to that B minor 7, just stay on it for 2. and that's 12, and then it starts all over again. So that's the 12 bar, and it just keeps going and going and going. If you're having some trouble changing chords in time, and like for instance, you might not be familiar with that G major 7th chord, right, or the F sharp 7th, and you're having trouble getting to those, or you're having trouble with your bar chords in general, I could help you with that. I have a free video lesson with all kinds of techniques to make it easier to change and to play bar chords. Essential frethand techniques, essential chord changing techniques, and killer exercises, right? It's a free video lesson. It's not on YouTube. I'd like to send it to you for free, and I'll send you a free ebook, which has even more exercises and chord diagrams and all kinds of great stuff in it. And all you have to do is just click on that link in the YouTube description box below. Click on that. I'll send you all that free stuff. It's free. Why not grab it from Epic Guitar Instruction? Now, how you play this song is going to depend on the instrumentation that you have. For instance, if you have keyboard player and a couple of guitar players, you might want to play really sparse rhythmically and maybe just throw in some, right? And play really sparse so you don't step on the toes of some of the other instrumentation. If it's just you playing it, you might want to do more of a strum pattern. I'll show you some of that with some chucking and carry it rhythmically via the guitar. And you could practice all these things over the jam track, because at the end, and I'll even play it in a little while, I put together a basic track with drums and keyboard and bass guitar, so you could practice all your different rhythm guitar ideas with the track. It's really cool. And this is a moderately slow blues. I think it's about like 88 beats per minute. Okay, so now you know all the chords, and you know how long you're going to stay on all the chords. And if you're going to be singing and playing this at the same time, you know what BB did a lot when he played live is he would not play during the verses. He would just sing, and then he would throw in little, you know, sweet sounding, tasty riffs, and then he would go back to singing. And then the solo, he would step up and play. And that's just his style. He liked to do that, let the kind of melody of the vocals take over during the verses, and he wouldn't play during that part. And then he would have those sparse, biting kind of groups of notes that were so cool with his wonderful vibrato and cool string bending, and then he would kind of leave lots of space, and that's very indicative of that B.B. King style. And we'll talk more about that in part 2 of this lesson when we go over the lead guitar. So here's one way that you could play this. I'll play the whole progression, and I'll play it with a little bit more. I'll play it with a little bit more of a strumming kind of feel, in case it's just one guitar. And then maybe what I'll do is I'll put the track on, and I'll show you how you could just insert little jabs, little stabs. We'll use all downstrokes to make this easy. And then what I'm doing is I'll throw in some chucking, and all that is you just loosen up the chord. I'm holding the B minor 7, so you strike it, let it ring, then loosen pressure with your fret hand, and just get that sound of the strings, right? That's a nice percussive element. You can just repeat that. Right, and you stay on there for 4, and then you go to the E minor 7. You do the same kind of strum feel. So let me play it for you. It'll sound like this. Here's a change, E minor 7, B minor 7 change. We're doing real basic here. Now up to the G major 7. F sharp 7. Back to the B minor 7. Here's the turnaround. Starts over, right? On that turnaround chord, on that F sharp 7, sharp 9, dot, dot, down, chuck, down. And then I did down, down, up, down. Right? If you want to do something with some upstrokes, now I'm throwing in some ups, and I'm getting some chucking in there. So down, up, down, up, down. But I'm loosening pressure. 4 bars. That's 2, 3, real easy strum, E minor 7 for 2. 1 more. Back to the B minor 7 for 2. Now we'll go up to G major. For 1. Now turn around. Right? So there's a nice little strum pattern you could do. If I slow it down. This you could kind of keep this going. And just squeeze, unsqueeze, squeeze, unsqueeze. So a lot of that chucking is controlled with your fret hand. Right? That's fun too. Another way you could do it is you could just kind of play it and then arpeggiate some of the notes in the book. That's a nice way of doing it too. Or you could just do these short stabs, like, and we'll do that too over the track, which I'll start up in a minute. Doesn't sound like much, but wait till you hear it with the track. And all I'm doing there is I'm what's called killing the chord. So I'm striking it and I'm quickly coming off pressure with my fret hand. Right? And you could do that. And you could do that just with the high strings if you want. Like if you have the keyboard player playing more of the chords on the lower registers, you could play the upper register of the chord. Just with those stabs. Notice the reverb on the guitar too. You want to definitely add some of that reverb. Add some of that in there to really just kind of spread the sound out a little bit. So I have the track queued up. And let's just at first, I'm going to play very sparse with just some hits and stabs. And the chucking like we talked about. And as the track goes on, I'll do a little bit on each chord and I'll show you more and more as it goes on. And you can mess with this over the rhythm track and try your rhythms and see what sounds good. And I'll bring it all the way up to where I'm doing like a full pattern like we talked about. So there'll be the count in and it'll start right on the B minor 7. Here we go. I'll just stab it in there. You can do upstrokes if you want. Now I'm going to change E minor 7. You let the chord ring a little bit. B minor 7, let it ring this time. Now, G major 7, F sharp 7, back to B minor 7. Turn around. Now it starts over. Play a little more this time. Change, B minor, E minor 7. Doing those downstrokes that we talked about earlier. Now let's go G major. To that F sharp 7. Back to the beginning. B minor 7, turn around. Now here's a strum pattern. B minor 7. B minor 7. Go up to that G chord, sharp 5. F sharp. Turn around. You can even arpeggiate the notes. Maybe play the chord, then arpeggiate. Mix it together. Here's a change. Sharp 5, F sharp 7. Alright, so there you have it, right? There's lots of different ways you can play that song depending on the instrumentation of your given situation. Practice all those different ways of playing rhythm and come up with some ways of your own and mix all those things together between the chucking, between the stabs of chords, the arpeggiating, the strumming, right? And practice over the rhythm track. At the end of this lesson, I'm just going to let that track roll without the guitar, right? And be sure to tune in for part 2, because in part 2, we're going to go over all kinds of different soloing opportunities that are in this song, and I'll have another rhythm track which will have the rhythm guitar in it, so it'll be great for soloing over. So be sure to check part 2 out. And hey, do me a favor, if you like this lesson, please click on that like button. That really helps us to keep bringing the content, and put a comment down in the YouTube comment box. Let us know, what you're working on, and let us know if you want to hear some other type lessons in this genre. And please subscribe to the channel. That really helps us, and you'll be notified when we have new lessons coming out. And oh yeah, don't forget to click that link in the YouTube description box, because I want you to get that bar chord video. That bar chord video is awesome, has all kinds of exercises as well as the accompanying ebook, and it's free stuff, so grab that by clicking on that link there. I'm David Taub from Epic Guitar Instruction. Really appreciate you checking out this lesson. Really appreciate your support. Keep putting those guitars in your hands every day. Remember, your playing is an evolution. Have fun and keep on rocking.